Good morning. It is now 7:29 a.m. on Tuesday, April 16th, 2019, here in South Korea. I am Christiana Ellis, and I just got up, more or less. This is 5 more minutes. So I actually woke up with crazy dream logic fan theories for Game of Thrones in my head. Don't even really remember the dreams that led to them, but I woke up pretty convinced that Bronn was a faceless man. And I'm not sure that I still think that's true, but I don't know. I do think there's maybe something up with him that not all of the pieces have clicked into place for that character yet, I don't think. I feel like the show is setting us up for some sort of a surprise with him. But anyway, that wasn't my primary idea for discussion this morning, mostly because I've already said everything that I have to say about it. But I'm glad to have Game of Thrones back. But I think what I was feeling more like talking about today, and thus the Going Back to Old Games title there, is that yesterday evening I found myself sort of drawn to booting Minecraft back up, which is a game that I played a lot of when it was newer and then kind of drifted away from. But every so often I find that a pull to go back to it for a little bit, even if I don't sort of stick with it, but to just do that early gameplay loop of survival mode where you start in a brand new procedural world and you have to start, making those initial tools and finding a little cave to hide out in, and, then starting to upgrade your tools and maybe find a place for a better, more permanent house or whatever. And so given that I have lots and lots of games that I have not even finished yet as new games, and lots of books or TV shows or movies or whatever that I could watch that I haven't watched before. And that's all on top of the idea that I have plenty of stuff in terms of creative projects that I could be working on. So what is it that makes me occasionally feel compelled to revisit a game that I've already played a bunch, that has nothing necessarily new to... Hold on, I'm sneezing. Am I? Excuse me, that was a long buildup. So what is it that, draws me back to a game like Minecraft? Well, I mean, obviously it's a game that has a lot to offer in terms of people have found a lot of, time in it. It's this sort of structured, unstructured play, right? In the sense that there's a freedom to do within the game's mechanics anything you want, and yet what you want to do generally is to build stuff, right? That's the idea. You're mining for resources and you use those resources to build things. So that's really what you do. Hello, Mike. And so what is it, though, that is happening in my brain? So when I'm feeling that draw, because I don't think this is really sort of Minecraft specific, it's more a matter of when there's so many choices of new forms of entertainment that you haven't experienced yet, what is it that makes you feel drawn to return to some old favorite, right? I don't know entirely, but I mean, I think we can theorize reasonably that at least some of it is sort of a soothing behavior, right? Like if you're feeling a little bit stressed, you want to return to something that's familiar and perhaps relaxing. Certainly the tone and pace of Minecraft is slower than some other games, and so, and it being familiar, having some level of freedom, but everything's kind of low stakes, that I think, might be, it's like a coping mechanism of stress. Now, I don't necessarily feel super stressed right now, so I'm not sure that it's quite that simple. But I don't know. I think that it might, in some regards, be like some Minecraft specifically could be sort of scratching the itch of feeling like I want to do something creative, but actually like writing stuff is hard work and Minecraft is easier. So maybe that's it. I don't know. Anyway, I think we all do it sometimes, so I'm not beating myself up too much about that idea, especially since I think part of what's going on, like I said, is, it's a subconscious sort of stress relief sort of thing. And, I think while it's good to take a step back and do a little bit of psychological self-assessment, sometimes you also don't necessarily need to beat yourself up for every little bit of behavior, especially when there's not really anything wrong with it. So anyway, I've got to go ahead and finish getting ready for work. So I will talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes. If I can find the end live video button. Yes, and just as I'm finishing, Mike says we all need to have a guilty pleasure. #balance winky face. Indeed.